It literally is not my fault you almost killed someone, by user A Tombomb 1945. I have done tech support for the medical field for over 10 years now, and the main thing that I have learned in that time is that medical staff think that they personally know what is best. This is back when I did computer support call center for a pharmacy software company. I got threatened by a pharmacist once because the patient could not have penicillin, deadly reaction to the stuff. The pharmacist did not check the warning box on the computer that turns the border of the charts red so that they know not to give penicillin because he didn't think it was necessary. Gave the patient a medication that had penicillin in it even though at the top of the file is said in all caps do not give PT penicillin. Patient goes into a coma, gets serious, they track down the reason to the pharmacist. Know what the pharmacist said? It's tech support's fault. Their software is faulty. And when he talked to me, told me that it was my fault the patient almost died and if he did I was going to be charged with manslaughter. Come to find out that was what the patient's lawyer was threatening the pharmacy with. Yeah, good luck getting that to stick in a court of law. My wife equals the user, by user Lord Shadow _Cincy. Probably not so the level of some of your posts, but I've long been out of desktop support, and this r/ reminds me of stories when I was paying my dues in the support trenches. Some things you just can't avoid, especially when you're married to the user. Woke up this morning, my wife said something was wrong with her laptop. Whenever she tried to search, it would scroll to the right. Odd. Okay. Then she said it also happened in the address bar. In my defense, this was also before coffee. She said she rebooted, even unplugged the keyboard dongle to make sure it wasn't the external keyboard. Frankly, I was quite proud of her. Some mental diagnostics, and I visions of having to spend the Good Friday holiday shopping for a replacement laptop. Her laptop is several years old. Let's look to be sure. So I opened up her laptop, and I'm presented with the login screen, sure enough, all along the password field. Checked the laptop keyboard, nothing stuck. Control A and delete worked, but it would fill up the input box again. I see her mouse to the right of the laptop, dongle sitting in the USB port. On a hunch, I unplug the dongle. Phantom typing stops. Then I remember this mouse was from a combo kit. To the left of her desk is a folded up blanket. One of those big fuzzy ones. Under the blanket, the keyboard from the combo kit. Turned on, and paired. She started using her other keyboard. Never turned this one off. The look on her face. Edit, can/can't. Use your teeth. Use your teeth, by user CCORRIGEN. I want to look at my manager, who has never been in the field or a wiring closet, and say what the heck do you think I do when I go out to work in these buildings? I don't sit in a comfortable chair with a cup of coffee at a nice big conference table in a room with air conditioning and a pen and notepad. No, I'm in a tiny wiring closet, hot and stuffy, filthy dirty with electric devices all around me, bumping my head on stuff, standing on my head looking for an available electrical outlet, pinching my effing fingers trying to fit a cable or a device in here or there. Straining my arms, back and neck in an effort to screw a device into a rack that is well over 20 years old and has begun to bow inwards so that I have to pull it apart to fit the device in it. You know, with the extra 3 to 4 arms that I have developed in order to do this mercurial job. Not to mention biting my tongue so that I don't curse when I have dropped yet another rack screw, which for some reason are so hard to find. The only available rack space is at the top of the rack. So you have to hold the heavy device up over your head, with one hand, or completely at the bottom so you have to lay on the not so clean floor, as you hold the screw in place with other hand and use the screwdriver, nope, out of hands, to screw it in. Hence, why we drop so many darn screws. Most of the time you cannot see where you are screwing the device onto the rack because it is below or above your line of vision or there are 10 cables in the way. In order to get your screwdriver, which is always the wrong size, to the device you must move the cables out of the way with what hand? How about your chin? Can you move 10 stiff cables to the side with your chin? Sure you can. Try it. And do what you say? Bring in a step stool or ladder. And put it. Where, pray tell? You're just better off taking your shoes off, always a treat in a hot closet, and climbing the network cables like Tarzan to reach the top. By now you have begun to sweat and your hands are clammy. Whoops, darn it. We dropped another screw and it is getting hard to turn the screwdriver. Use your teeth. What? I said use your teeth. Oh, and forget taking coffee or water into the closet to refresh. No place to put it, and more than likely it will get knocked off of whatever you set it on, yep, even the floor. Trying to keep my laptop from sliding off the bunch of cables I have set it on because that is the only horizontal surface I can find. Besides the fact that it is stuffy, and did I mention it is hot in there? All those electrical technical devices running, the noise is unbearable and they create quite a bit of heat. Praying to God I don't get zapped when I have to step across or even on electrical and network cables that cover the entire floor area. And the closet is rarely air conditioned. Of course not, air conditioners are for administrators and chiefs of whatever acronym they are using these days. And you are literally eating dust. No custodian will touch these wires, devices, or rack with a cleaner or dust cloth. More than likely they have been threatened with their life if they do, or they just look at the spaghetti mess and say, oh, hell no. And if I am lucky enough to get a tech who even offers to help me, it is so small and crowded in the closet, when one of us holds the device and the other screws it into place, we rub up against each other, climb on top of each other, and they touch me in places my so has not touched me in a year. And really? Where do you look while your nose is inches away from their nose while you or they screw the device in? And it isn't quick. Screwing 4 screws into an out-of-date rack and repeatedly dropping screws can take up to half an hour. And you should always have mints, chewing gum and extra deodorant with you because I don't think I need to explain. It's like playing Twister with a stranger, except you aren't 15 anymore. Connect 2 networks? Sure, by user Jakobic. Years back, circa 2013, I was setting up a new connection for a client, a small advertising company. They already had a network and internet connection for their office, but wanted to move some of the staff to a new office 1 floor up and across the stairs. In the new office they had an ISP set up a new network connection, and they wanted us to bridge the 2 offices so the top office could easily reach data which were on a server in the lower office. Took me and a colleague a while, but after setting some switches and cables up we confirmed they can reach the server with ease. Left for the day and was happy about a job well done. The next morning we get a call from the very customer, saying the top office cannot get online. As we have just been starting the company, I called my colleague at once. We dropped everything and went over to the customer, naturally. After some hours of us being confused and the customer getting a bit anxious, I have hit up a buddy of mine which was working at the ISP in question. After some discussion we have discovered that the ISP technician responsible for setting up the top office network has plugged the network cable into the TV slot of the router, meaning the top office computers could easily reach the data, but not the internet, which they were trying to reach through the lower network, across 2 gigabit switches and about 70 m of CAT6 cable. The top office was not active before, so nobody found out about this. Had a laugh of it later, but scared us in the beginning. Wholesome Family Tech Support, by user Rankoku_Tayan. Visiting my sister and her family for Easter. They're in the middle of renovating and building an extension, but they've been tearing their hair out over their Wi-Fi. No matter what they did, they simply couldn't get the range they needed. The router can only be set up in either the hallway or the living room, and either way, they could barely get signal upstairs and never in their son's bedroom. And now with the extension they have been worried about getting signal down there, and everywhere it's slow. My sister was sharing this with us over a cuppa after the kids went to bed, and telling us they were considering dropping 120 pounds on a new router and several range extenders to try and get the coverage they wanted, and knowing I work in IT she wanted to know if I had any recommendations. I would have thought nothing more of it, only she said I wish I knew who had that BT Wi-Fi because I can see it everywhere in the house. So I asked a bit more about how old her router was and who she is with, and told her about previous experiences I've had where, either 2.4 GHz was disabled, or changing the channel helped with range or speed issues. Oh, we do have access to any of that, I have to call up Virgin to get them to change it. So I told her no. The settings page is almost certainly either 192.168.01 or 0.1.1 because almost all routers are. And the admin details are probably with on the box or on Google. So she pulled it up on her iPad and we had a look. The admin password on the sticker worked like a charm and I got in and had a look. The 5 GHz band looked fine, but the 2.4 was locked to 802.11 grams, with N disabled, and the channel width was 20. First thing I did was change the protocol to 802.11n and set the channel width to 20/40. Then I checked the built-in Wi-Fi analyzer and changed the channel from 6 to 11. The range instantly doubled and the speed improved. We haven't tested the range into the new extension yet, but there's 2 billion Argentine pesos everywhere upstairs now. Saved my sister £120 and made her day. She's promised me a pack of biscuits as a thank you.